The families you will meet in this video are caring for a relative with Alzeimer's, each one at a different stage of the disease. To help that loved one be involved as much as possible, the caregivers simplify their homes and activities. They use a technique called task breakdown. Task breakdown means breaking an activity into smaller steps in order to increase understanding of how to do the activity.
She can do very little for herself. I have to dress her. I have to give her showers. I have to get her to brush her teeth.
People with Alzheimer's lose the ability to follow those inner instructions that they have on how to brush your teeth or how to get into a car. They can no longer remember that.
It's difficult to take your mother and teach her how to brush her teeth. I mean, that's something that is not easy to accomplish.
In the beginning, she wasn't fitting into our life, and it was very hard. It was very frustrating. We felt as if our lives had been taken away by having to give that kind of care.
Help is out there in the form of task breakdown. I mean, it is an ideal way to get through your day and to develop a structure.
Using scenes with other caregivers at an adult daycare center, this video will also deal with issues of communication and the value of fun activities for your relative.
The longer my mom can do things by herself, the longer she can live at home, the longer we can have her be a part of daily family life, the better off.
Alzheimer's disease and other dementias rob people of their ability to carry out everyday activities on their own. These tasks of self-care, maintaining a household, and leisure activities are sources of identity and self-esteem for all of us.
It seems to be that every human being has to be purposeful, no matter what their losses. They seem to be able to have a purpose and a feeling of usefulness.
Each person with Alzheimer's has a different level of functioning depending on which stage of the disease they're in, and they will not regain lost skills, but caregivers can help them compensate with big benefits.
Being able to maintain their dignity is certainly a big part of it, and extending their life in the community is also important. The more they can do for themselves, the more normally they will act and be able to stay in the community for longer.
I feel it's very important that we stay here together. This is our home. We were married, about 40 years ago, slightly more than 40 years.
John Watson has medical problems of his own, including a heart condition and a recent stroke. But with help, he's caring for his wife Mary at home. Simplifying tasks is one way to make that possible.
People with Alzheimer's have short memories or very little memory at all, and their ability to follow longer directions has diminished. So you have to break things down into smaller steps and let them finish that so that they can complete a whole task.
Breaking down a task into smaller steps means thinking of all the separate steps that make up one task, such as putting on a jacket. It may help you to write down each step you can think of. The idea is to then encourage the person with dementia to participate as much as possible in each separate step.
You're almost a coach. It's not really teaching, it's coaching. But people with dementia are certainly capable of being coached. I mean, they really can respond to it.
Even this simple act of Mary holding the seat belt while John walks around the car to attach it is an example of task breakdown.
It's not too difficult. She will get in. I sometimes have great difficulty with the belt. I'll handle the belt and she'll put it back. And the belt has an automatic spring on it.
With a task such as hand washing, the list of subtasks may look something like this. How many and what steps you break a task down into are less important than learning what parts of the task your family member really becomes involved with, and encouraging them to participate. Ed Swindler learned that guiding his wife Sherry helps her to brush her teeth herself.
And I can help her with brushing the teeth by fixing the toothbrush so that she won't knock the paste out of it before she starts. I force it into the bristles because she'd shake it off otherwise. Go ahead. No, don't put it down. Don't put it down. I want to brush your teeth, hon.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, but
That's fine.
I'll put it independent.
And just lifting it up and put it in her mouth, and she'll brush.
Don't let it on me.
All right, good. Good, very good. Wonderful.
Visual and physical cues emphasize the spoken instructions and simplify the task. Ed describes how he uses such cues to help Sherry take a shower.
I get the water going and give her the soap with a washcloth. And in fact, I put the soap on the washcloth, and ultimately I get her into the shower.
Alzheimer's and other dementias affect each person differently, so it's best to adapt task breakdown to each person's level of functioning.
Either it worked. If it didn't work, you tried something else, and just take it a step at a time and see what needs to be done.
Ed and Sherry's son, Jim, realized Sherry needed an activity outside the kitchen work area so that she can focus on eating without distraction. Jim now has room to move about and complete the meal preparation.
I started out trying to keep her out of the kitchen, make her salad, and then give that to her in the living room while we were fixing everything else. She would eat the salad, and then the rest of her meal, but if you gave it to her all three at one time, and a salad and her main course and anything else, she just wouldn't eat the salad. This way of splitting it up, what she will eat the entire meal.
No matter how you've broken down the individual steps, sometimes it's necessary for the caregiver to start the activity for the person with dementia. This is what Cara Byrne and her sister Mary Watson discovered.
She didn't even know how to sit in the bath anymore. So we did the same approach that we did with anything else, which was, this is a bath, and here's how we sit in it. Mary even got into the tub and showed her what it was like, breaking it down into put your left foot in and now your right foot, and then she'd take the left foot out, and then you say, no, Mom, we need to put the left foot back in. And
using these techniques takes time, and there's no perfect way to decide what to do.
The way we determined what tasks she could handle during the day was through trial and error. That may have taken 3 months before we knew.
Margaret Breen decided that with simple appliances, her mother, Gladys Brow, could prepare her own breakfast. In Gladys's room, Margaret set up a small toaster and refrigerator, a tea kettle that turns off automatically, and pre-measured bags of coffee. She then worked with her mother on a precise structure for the task of fixing breakfast.
And explain exactly the steps, using the same words every day. Now get the tea kettle, put water in it, plug it in. Now get your cup, get your spoon, get your coffee bag. But always keeping the goal in mind, that her tranquility, her happiness, her peace, her safety returns with a very strict routine.
Task breakdown creates structure that can make caregiving easier. Here are some guidelines for using task breakdown. Write down each subtask of the activity. Simplify the activity to match the person's ability. Use spoken, visual, and physical cues. Keep it simple. Be patient. And if it doesn't work, make the subtasks even simpler.
Do anything you can to give yourself help in breaking these items down. And then, if it doesn't work, don't give up. Please find someone to talk to. Talk to someone else who's a caregiver. Find a support group. Do anything you can to build yourself a support system and share with other people.
An adult daycare center can be a place to get more help and new ideas. Task breakdown depends on good communication to be successful.
Good job.
People with dementia have trouble figuring out to which sound they should pay attention. So the setting influences how well task breakdown works.
we always try to do things in a time when it's not a rushed, harried time, when it's a calmer. We find that my mother responds a lot better to a calm atmosphere and a calm voice.
Because dementia also makes it hard to understand words and meaning, how you speak to someone makes a big difference.
Use short, simple, direct statements like, pick up the toothbrush rather than, here's your toothbrush, why don't you pick it up and you can brush your teeth. You only want to give the directions. You don't want to bring up conversation while you're trying to get a task done. So your words really are minimal.
Will I put this in too? Everything
In the bottom?
that's there,
In the bottom?
anything big goes on the bottom.
All right. There. Here's another glass. I put that one is all right.
I want them all in the dishwasher, Mom.
All right.
Then you can certainly use body language and direction, pointing with your hands, and then hand over hand, which means really putting your hand on top of that person's hand and guiding them through part of a task.
Usually she can't get into the car anymore. So I open the door, point to where I want her to go in the seat. Now don't close it. We're going to get in. We're going to get in. Here, come on. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I give her a little push. Start in the right direction. She'll get in and sit down. I'll put on the safety belt. And I'll close the door. She won't close the door many times.
Avoid demeaning speech or baby talk, which makes people feel bad, but do give praise for tasks accomplished.
All right.
Good.
That's fine.
Now they're all dirty dishes in there.
They're all dirty dishes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a help to me. Okay, good job, Mom.
Try to keep these communication techniques in mind when using task breakdown. Make sure the person knows that you're talking to him or her. Use short, simple words and sentences. Speak slowly, clearly, and calmly. Be respectful, easygoing, and encouraging. And allow time for information to be understood. No matter how well task breakdown works, the progress of a disease such as Alzheimer's continues.
You get a routine down, and as her condition deteriorates, you've got to change your routine, so nothing stays the same. You got to keep on changing with it. You never know what's going to happen next.
Task breakdown is more successful when the physical setting helps the person know what to do. The caregiver can make simple home modifications to achieve that. Signs and barriers are some of the easiest modifications to help a caregiver.
Because I have to sleep frequently during the day. I'm a nurse and I work off shifts. And I would have her coming into my room and waking me up, and I had to work 13 hours after that time. So this stops her. When Mom moved in here about a year ago, our biggest concern was when we were out of the house, whether she'd be turning on the stove. So we tried the signs. This sign, do not use, again is a barrier. So by putting these up, she doesn't even see this as an opportunity to turn on the gas.
Another modification is deadbolt locks with keys for doors to the outside of the house.
It prevents wandering, and I can sleep and be sure she's not wandering.
Ed and Jim Swindler added a simple door in their kitchen to allow them to move about quickly when preparing meals.
We borrow a couple of pens here. And strangely enough, she doesn't object. So that's one part of it. And the other part is right here with a little dowel. Like so. And we're going to hold up here. It permits me to go ahead and prepare the meals, which I do.
Another issue for caregivers is leisure time, which often gets ignored because the caregiver is so busy and stressed. But having fun offers an opportunity for the person with dementia to feel useful and be a part of the family.
There's a real possibility that, she could just sit around all day if that's what you let her do, but she's very unhappy when that happens. She's a much happier person if she's been active during the day.
The idea is to give the person something that's purposeful to them, that calls on past lifestyle experiences, and that gives them pleasure while they're doing it. It doesn't have to be purposeful for the caregiver, just purposeful for the person with dementia.
A few of the many possibilities are crafts projects, singing, dancing, playing with a balloon, and going for a walk. Success comes from choosing activities that use the person's remaining skills and abilities.
say that I will soon be there.
Good, great.
The techniques shown in this video can benefit every family that uses them. Simplifying tasks and the home environment can make life easier for both the caregiver and the person cared for. Communicating in short sentences with to-the-point and low-key language can help get tasks done. And participation in tasks and fun activities can add to a person's self-esteem and well-being.
I sound like I'm a commander at times with the cues and the rigidity that has to be in that kind of schedule. But it's what gives her relief, and it's immediately apparent in how she feels and how she acts.